Okay. We're here again, as we always seem to be. Battle of Nimbus Station. I have returned to you. Um, don't really have too much interesting to say. I'm I'm quite sleepy, and it's currently 7 o'clock. Well, actually 7:30 to be slightly more precise, and 7:36 to be even more precise than that. However, what is shared between all of those times is the fact that there is zero chance that I will actually have any reasonable sleep schedule if I try and go to sleep now. Which means basically vibing on LU. Seems to be the natural conclusion to all of this. That's rather a lot of lag. So keep running in circles. Need to unplug my computer. Right, hopefully if I unplug my computer and plug it back in, that lag will go down. Honestly amazed I managed to survive those enemies. Or without getting hit. Like, okay, surviving's not too surprising, but not getting hit kind of was. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I haven't posted any videos for a little while, or at least not publicly. Um, I recorded. I'd be interested in hearing people's thoughts. I recorded a ton of videos, which are honestly far more like they make far more sense for them to be videos I'm doing. I did a ton of videos just going through. Basically, for those, I don't know, some of you may know the YouTube channel Mike Boyd. He basically does learning skills, and one of them, basically, he decided to demonstrate that, you know what, you could learn maths. And yeah, he is a, yeah, so he basically, what he did is he went and basically demonstrated cramming incredibly hard, more or less, to pass an Oxford Maths admissions exam. So specifically to pass the MAT, which is the mathematics aptitudes test. I believe it's, if I remember correctly, it might just be admissions. I don't remember. It's been a while since university applications were a thing for me. And yeah, basically did that. I was a little bit like, okay, yeah, sure, you've learned all this stuff in a short period of time. I get the point is to show that, like, you know, anyone can learn maths. And it is a skill you can learn in a short period of time. Heavily skewed by the fact that he like studied. He's got an engineering degree, which I do think it's like a little bit okay. That's not exactly like it's not exactly like you had to learn like the entirety of calculus for the first time. It was an entirely new concept, and you just had to pick it up. I don't think it necessarily shows that maths is as easy to pick up as I believe the aim was to demonstrate. But I like the principle because I do think certain topics have some sort of mystique about them, and they're mostly very simple. Wow. Speaking of things that are very simple, but people often mess up, round 4 of Battle of Nimbus Station. But anyway, yeah, basically, during they then did a second video, which was attempting to pass the interview stage, and basically this was the one which got me quite interested because I remember like Oxbridge admissions questions. I remember like I mean, obviously, I applied for. Well, I say obviously, it's obvious to people who have watched the channel for a little while. I applied for physics, not for maths, and I, yeah, and I mean, yeah, Ox, the whole Oxbridge process was weird, and it's a long time ago now. But yeah, I remembered when I was flying. I was just like, you know what? Let's take a look at these questions and say when the questions come up, I was like, okay, let's try and solve them. And so I solved I solved like the questions that he was being dropped, and was just like, you know what, let's record them. And so I do have those. They are actually on the channel. They're just not publicly listed. But after that, after doing those, I was like, actually, you know what? Let's just look up some maths interview questions. because, like, realistically, I think, well, I don't know. I honestly just really enjoyed kind of doing them. Largely just for the reasons that, I don't know, it's a not, I find it a kind of nice way of working to record, maths, to record, like, a video where it's literally maths and I am literally just deriving everything that I'm using, kind of as like, well, okay, not everything I'm using, but like I'm kind of doing it in a teaching slash explanatory way because I really enjoy that. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It was a good way of like really making me think because like so questions about like there were quite a few questions dealing with like factorizations of numbers and like prime factorizations and like all that stuff. I have not dealt with a prime factorization of something in, I think, years is probably is safe to say. Let's not die to that. Like, because that never comes up in physics. I cannot think of a time where a prime factorization has been relevant. I'm honestly fairly surprised that I've come across, I've mentioned this in a previous video, quasicrystals are heavily based around irrational numbers. And honestly, like, that surprised me that the notion between rationality and irrationality ever came up. I mean, realistically, it actually comes up less than quasicrystals would really want you to see. Like, arguably both are kind of approximations, and it doesn't matter. All that it matters is that a number looks sufficiently irrational up to a certain point for quasicrystals, up to this basically the size of the crystal. The actual true irrationality of the number doesn't matter. Only an approximate quantity matters. But, you know, it was, yeah, it's like irrationality I've seen come up, but I've still never actually seen a prime factorization have physical meaning. And that's not to in any way, like, say that, oh, this is a useless skill because cryptography would like to know your location, but it is interesting to, it's very, very interesting to, like, exercise skills that I don't normally do because yeah, you just very rarely get like integers, and like prime numbers are lovely in maths because they're like a unique decomposition of any number which like works nicely in certain contexts. But most of the time you don't really care about uniquely describing integers as like a specific product of other integers. Physics mostly, there are definitely times where physics cares about integers, but very rarely in a way that would make prime factorizations like actually have any physical meaning. Like, honestly, genuinely, if someone has ever come across an example, I'd be really interested. Like, this is not me saying, haha, maths is stupid, it can't describe the physical world. This is me genuinely being like, you know what, I've never come across a field where this is important, but until recently I hadn't come across a field where the distinction between rational and irrational numbers was important, and then I started learning about quasicrystals, and by saying suddenly it was. So, you know, it could well have a lot more importance that I'm just not seeing. And in fact, yeah, I'd be surprised. Let's get away. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it had too much significance, just because, yeah, physics tends. We care about, there's like two places I know of that we really care about integers. One is in topological effects. The other is in bound states in quantum mechanics, and I guess both of those are kind of the same thing. So, like, the places we care about integers, we care about them in the fact that we have something discrete, and we can label something discrete with natural numbers. That's a relatively easy process. And as it happens, we quite often deal with differential equations which have certain boundary conditions, and Sturm-Liouville field theory tells us that we should be able to, that in one dimension at any rate we have no degeneracy, and therefore we can uniquely label eigenvalues and stuff like that. I've just aggroed that spiderling probably. Yep. Let's de-aggro that. Before we move on, there we are. Okay, let's go. Not what I wanted. Just get close, not too close. Yeah. That's what I wanted. Let's go. That was bad, but shouldn't ever, like in theory, it should never come close enough that the mistake I made there should make a difference, but you never know. Maybe it one day will. So there we are. But yeah, so I don't know. Let me know if like the reason I actually put them on the YouTube channel is literally just because yeah, I can put them up there, I can unlist them, and then they're not on my computer. And if I ever do want to like put them out there, then I can. But I don't know. Let me know if I suspect that the thing is, I'm gonna say let me know if you'd be interested. The thing is, I really suspect my user base with these videos is not one which has too much overlap with me just randomly with me just randomly solving maths problems. Okay, I'm sure there's some overlap, but I'm sure there's not a ton. Just, yeah, it was a little bit risky. I should just de-aggro the hammer stromling. So I think the correct way of proceeding right now. I'll probably re-aggro it here, but it's fine. Kidding me. De-aggro again. Yeah, and, yeah. So also unironically, like, this is very weird. I don't know. I feel like so the thing is, I feel like I should have a second channel for this, but then I remember that wait a second, Ninja Log is my second channel. It literally exists for this, which is yeah, for people who yeah, if you don't understand anything in physics, give me a shout because the thing I really, really enjoy. Like, honestly, the way I learned a ton of the physics that I know now is just through explaining it to people. It sounds really weird. Like, obviously, I had to learn a lot of stuff to begin with, but most of my understanding from that I have now and that I use in my day-to-day life in physics came from explaining stuff to someone. I find it really satisfying, and that's like the reason that I do, or that I made the videos in the style of just like, in the style almost of an interview, because it's just like, yeah, you know what, I really enjoy trying to explain thought processes to someone. Ah, that was not precisely what I intended, but you know, let's go. Close. Okay, there we are. That'll work. And we actually happen to have the cherry up with the correct timing, which is always nice. Let's not go out of range here. De-aggro it. We're kind of cutting it a little bit close. I'd like to not be this far back, but that will be fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's also a little bit of a meme in a couple of actually both my IRL and LU friendship group of how easy it is to completely and utterly nerd snipe me. For those who are unaware of nerd sniping, it's a very, very unethical sport proposed by the comic strip writer XKCD, who's very well known in like nerdy physics circles. And it's a sport whereby you propose a problem to someone such as a physicist or a mathematician, typically STEM student, as they cross a road, in the attempt that they'll get so distracted by trying to solve your problem that they will get hit by oncoming traffic. Typically used to just describe posing a problem for someone which then overly distracts them. And it is something which happens to me rather a lot. So, yeah, very, very, will be willingly, okay, not nerd snipes in the extent of oncoming traffic, that I will not be willing, that, I don't want to do that, but, will be willingly nerd sniped if anyone has questions on, like, most physics things, I don't know. Very, very weird thing to be, suggesting on a channel where most of my content is primarily LU based, but then again, the entire point of this channel was that it didn't have to be entirely LU based. So, you know, doesn't entirely fail to track. And here we are. Bonk. But yeah, speaking of teaching stuff, the one thing that I actually am quite excited to do is I'm planning on. I've finally worked out how I'm going to revise in like a way that really works for me for upcoming exams. And I've basically decided that I'm going to attempt to produce a I don't want to I hesitate to say like a series of lectures would be the best way of phrasing it. I don't want to say a lecture course because I feel lecture course would also imply like other stuff like notes, most importantly notes, and there's zero chance I'm putting together additional notes. But I realized recently that I don't spend enough time like I genuinely really enjoy the process of giving lectures. I mean, I'm sure that's not hugely surprising given like the content you guys see from me on here. Like there's a lot of just talking about and trying to explain topics I find interesting and then getting vaguely frustrated with the fact that, I can't draw diagrams. So imagine a thing where I already have the diagrams prepared. Like you can imagine the rate of physics would be incredibly, incredibly high. But yeah, I also, the thing that reminds me about this was recently, I think I have mentioned this in a recent video, was that I did a presentation of based on like preliminary results of a research review into quasicrystals, and yeah, that was genuinely really good fun. I spent a couple of hours writing up a presentation, and then more or less by presentation I just mean PowerPoint, and then no, I'm dead. I should be dead. That's the first time I've ever survived that. What happened there was I got very lucky and attacked him like right away, such that he got stunned, or either that or I just moved past where the attack was going to land. I think it's far more likely I stunned him. But regardless, that timing was very lucky, and I don't know. I've done some stuff in the past which suggests it's not actually pure luck, and like maybe you could turn that into a strategy, but I've never felt confident enough in it to actually turn it into a proper strategy. Oh, let's pick up my money. So I'm just getting up the database browser so I can quickly get the ID for the healing cherries. Just get out of range. Whilst I do that, not that anything spawns particularly close to me here. Okay. But so the plan basically is, because I don't know, I find it incredibly hard to motivate myself to go through past papers. Like, they really, really, really bore me. One day I'm going to actually check my mail on this account. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I need to throw out many items here. Normally would not throw out basic spears, but given this is a test character, I think I can live with that. Speaking of, let's just throw out most of the stuff here. There's rather a lot of stuff I don't actually need and will never use. And I can then fill that space up with, you guessed it, healing cherries. And I want to keep those because I want to see how much I make. Okay. Oh, wow. Some good investment. Okay, anyway, let's return to actually playing LU rather than just sorting out an inventory. But yeah, so I don't know where I'm planning to do this. I think I will probably create another channel for that, or do that on. I did create a channel a while back with some friends where we did a physics podcast that we actually only put up like one episode ever, and like no one else other than me was really interested in doing like. Everyone was interested in sitting down and doing it. No one else was really interested in like actually like getting videos out there. So I don't know if that will continue, but maybe I'll use that channel for. Maybe I'll use that channel for stuff like dropping these lectures. So these would be like I would say semi-advanced lectures on quantum physics. So they assume that you know. Yeah, you'll basically be going in with the assumption you maybe have some experience in complex analysis. Definitely you've experienced dealing with like operator algebras and stuff like that. I also need to know what the rigorous definition. This is just a note to myself. I need to know what the rigorous mathematical definition of the term an algebra is. Because I use it interchangeably with like a way of generating an infinite set of things and a way of manipulating. I use it interchangeably to a group, I think, basically. Why am I doing this? Seems like one of the weirdest strategies I've ever attempted. I'm going to climb up onto a random pole and attack from there strategy, but you know what? Didn't work out too bad. Okay. I forgot we've got the cheese strats for this. Just run all the way to the other side. Hopefully I don't de-aggro. Haven't de-aggro, that's good. May as well smash this whilst I'm here. Get this guy all the way over here, and then run all the way back and smash the Admiral. For those of you who are wondering why I'm doing this, it's really annoying if I have to run across the map right at the end. However, I don't really want to get into, like, baiting out an Admiral to come all the way to the other side of the map. So I'd much rather bait out a Storming Pirate to get all the way to the other side of the map. However, I don't want to fight an Admiral at the same time as having a Storming Pirate there. I can do it, I have done it in the past, but it's risky and there's no point taking that risk. So yeah. I just want to be able to ensure that I can start the round here with as few enemies aggro to me as possible. As few enemies aggro to me as possible will basically constitute a couple of mechs who will aggro to me more or less no matter what I do. But if I ran across, I could have potentially like 2 or 3 Storming Pirates aggro to me. This way I prevent any of that. Still got to deal with some mechs, which is annoying, but I'm just going to do that by running back and forth. The reason I run back and forth rather than just standing in one place and dodging is because I believe they run further when you're further away. What's it looking like? Down there. Okay, I think I can get close enough to this without aggroing. Heal. Oh, no. Okay, bad. Where did you come from? It's annoying. Let's get rid of you. Okay, how do I play this? I think I take you out. But very carefully. Wait until both fire. Going for a triple combo. Jump back. It's nice. Single attack will finish. There we are. 2, 3. You're down. And there we are. Okay, that was done. Not terribly. We had minimum of things aggroed to us, and now we've gotten most of them. Do I aggro up that mech? I mean, I have, do I? What do I want to do with this? I shouldn't have healed up there. Oh, okay. Well, I've aggroed you now. Okay, that's the reason why I should break those things in advance. I really assumed that would not be an eventuality that would ever occur. I kind of always did that just in case, but oh no, that's not great. Oh, that's really not great. Okay. I need an area where I can run in a circle because I've aggroed quite a few things now. But running a circle without aggroing anymore. This area, yeah, I might as well just use this area here. Could attempt to de-aggro these guys. But yeah, I've just got to be very careful. Because I might survive these guys attacking me, but probably not if they all got to hit me at once. Oh no, bad, bad, bad. Could have been worse. I mean, obviously I could be dead. So the aim is really just to keep moving. The classic circling strategy. Got in too close there. Should maybe fight here, but I don't really want to risk getting too close to the other enemies and getting even more storming pirates on my case. Because moving into places because I thought it would help me deal with the existing enemies was exactly what got me into this mess I'm in at the moment. Might as well just heal up. It's not a bad idea. Oh, okay. We're doing this now. Okay. Made it through that. It's not a good play. Okay, so I'm going to clear stuff. How do I want to clear stuff out? Okay, I'm just going to go through in this direction. This direction makes a lot of sense because that means I'll end up with leaving those two Stromlings at the far end, and that'll give me a nice route back. Whee! Ow. Possibly a necessary heal there, but I don't care. Far prefer to heal unnecessarily than not heal. And should have healed. Let's just make sure I can see everything. Yeah. Don't want to be surprised by a Stromling Admiral in this game, ever. Or honestly, by anything whilst I'm fighting a Stromling Admiral, because it takes a second of being stun locked and you're dead, so... Like, in this entire thing, like, the one thing that's... The only reason this challenge is possible is because LU gives you tons and tons and tons of mobility. I mean, I guess in theory it could be... I guess in theory there probably are one-on-one strategies with most enemies that I could come up with without. But I feel like in order for this to actually be... So, rather than simply being possible, in order for this to actually be feasible, you really, really want all that mobility that LU gives you. So yeah, it should be good. Nothing aggroed. Perfect. I'll aggro this guy first. I like how my sense of how far it is to aggro these guys has typically improved. It hasn't always improved, as we've seen by the number of times where I managed to well, as seen by the instance there a minute ago where I accidentally aggroed like 4 separate things at once, but you know. In general, I'd say this has improved. I've gone a lot better at like aggroing one Stromling pirate without aggroing others. At least when I can see them and I'm like focusing on aggroing the correct number, then I tend to do relatively well. Yeah, I'm going to do the classic strat of exploiting the fact that oh no, we've got 2. Okay. Exploiting the different distances. Let's be careful, but not too careful. Heal up. Wow, that was a completely unnecessary heal, but you know. Anyway, okay. Got rid of ones out there. yeah, normally I go around this way, so see no reason to deviate from the norm. And yeah, these are the couple of rounds where everything goes very slowly. I mean, honestly, this game is just, at this stage, it is kind of, I've got safe strats for most things. It is just about taking it slow and not making too many mistakes. Let's get you aggroed. I wonder if I aggroed anything else. No, I didn't. Okay. Good to know that that's a space I can go. So we are. Got one. Just one following me. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like this channel works for like posting lots and lots of random stuff, but I feel if I were to ever like start like actually trying to post a lecture series, it would make sense. It would make sense to try and do that on an actual like somewhat more dedicated forum. I don't mean forum as in online forum. I just mean as in place. Pretty good suck spiderling fight. Risked a little at the end, but so much my sense of distance is where the aggro having improved over time. Oh, and okay, I didn't even see this guy. I'm going to try and get some damage off of him before the other one gets here. Other one has now got here, so we enter safe strats. Because, yeah, of the risk that one of these can deal 3 damage to me in 1 hit. Which is a lot. Over half my health. Something to be very, very, very scared of. Especially in a challenge like this one. Got rid of one. That's good. There we are. Nice and easy. Okay. Okay, we've got one more guy down here, so I'm just gonna pull the classic isolation strat there. I have absolutely no idea what isolation strats are going to look like once I get past Kinga Hurl. I really hope I'm recording. I have this like moments in most videos I record. Just like, wait a second. Am I actually still recording this? Because it's entirely possible that I've messed up and I'm just, you know, not. I ran away too quickly there. Yeah. Let's run past. Nope. Okay, there we are. And we're in the loop. The loop is home. The loop is where I am safe. I am out of the loop. Rip the loop. All my homies loved the loop. I don't know which of my friends got me saying that. We're using the phrase all my homies love the. There's certain phrases I have absolutely that are in my lexicon now. I have absolutely no idea, like, the broader connotation, context, or what they mean. But I just have. I did not realize, for instance, that for ages. I mean, my friend didn't either. That every single time he said, "Thank you, Ninja's real name," very cool. He was in fact parodying Trump. Which was a surprise to him. It was quite funny. Absolutely no idea that that was, yes, Trump replying to a Kanye West tweet. But by this, at the point he realised, it was just like, yeah, this comes from him now. This is a thing he would say. It's not as in Donald Trump, but as in my friend. It was just like, we were all very surprised to learn that it did not originate from him, and I mean, even he was surprised to learn it didn't originate from him. Because it had just such good flow when he was trying to meme me, you know? In the loop. Here we go. Repeat, and the rest follows trivially by time translation symmetry. Easy. I've now trivially proven that I will complete this, and so do I actually need to complete it? I don't know. Maybe I don't. In fairness, the original point of this challenge wasn't for me to beat this. It was for me to demonstrate that it was possible. I would say I still haven't done that. Like, not conclusively, because I strongly suspect, like, Baton Station is possible, but I haven't even, like, done it segmented, so. Hey, we've got the one round with... Oh, no, we don't. That's not this round, evidently. Some round at some point where we don't have any mechs, and I love that round with the whole of my heart, because it means I don't... it means I don't have early games that look like this. Careful. At least I'm no longer surprised by that attack when it inevitably does occur. So I should be able to get all the way over here. I shouldn't de-aggro that guy. De-aggro that guy. Dang. Okay, what do I want to do? Okay, this works. Gotta be careful to aggro only one. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and just ensure this central area is somewhat... Or I'm gonna try and clear out a somewhat central area before getting rid of that mech. I think this is a reasonable way of going. Oh, wait a sec. Do I want to do this? I do need to plan this out, actually. I think I want to actually take this one counterclockwise. Because if I do this clockwise, well, I don't hugely want to be... I guess I could finish off on an apple. That wouldn't actually be too much of a problem. But I didn't want to, and now I'm not going to. The jumping overhead strategy is pretty safe and absolutely terrifying. Hate it so much. I would genuinely... I don't think LU would ever become large enough if this was the case, but I would be so interested in seeing a speed run of this challenge. Because I play everything in this so incredibly safe. And it would be so interesting to see what strategies people go for to save time relative to what I'm doing now. Because, like, that would just be... That's such a hard line to tread. The risk to your character being damaged versus the time save you'd get. And quite literally, for your character, be a dangerous line to tread. It's like, for instance, here, I could definitely be aggroing more enemies. I could probably try and, for instance, get the 2 Strongling Pirates. But I think it's... I do think it's faster with Strongling Pirates. I do think aggroing one, then aggroing the other probably is the best option. Which diagro's first? Oh, okay. Looks like I'm doing this. That doesn't not work for me. Ow. Yeah, man. Don't really want to diaggro that guy now. Oh, that's possible. Oh my god. No, I messed it up then. No, I didn't. I theorized this was possible ages ago. I didn't think I would ever actually achieve that. Oh wow. That's a first. I don't think anyone's ever gone anywhere near that before. That's incredibly cool. Okay, I'm gonna aggro the spiderling. Okay, good. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, there you have it. The infinite height gain. I did not think it would be honestly that easy to time that. That turned out to be a lot easier than I expected. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, you can do that in like ones which spring to mind as that's an actually let's say cheaper way of out of bouncing in Avant-Garde and Survival. I mean, it's a cheaper way than using spring shoes of out of bouncing basically anywhere that has Stromling mechs, and that's well, not even just Stromling mechs actually. Maelstrom Horseman as well. Okay, what do I want to do from here? No, I know what I want to do. I'm going to come around the outer edge and get rid of that Hammer Stromling. I think that's the best play. Get rid of that Hammer Stromling on this back straight here. There we are. Sorry, not Hammer Stromling, Hammer Hurl Stromling. Ouch, as demonstrated there. Oh, I can't believe that. I can't believe I just did that. I was not expecting to. I was low-key doing that for the memes whilst I waited to try and get the mech over further in this direction. It just worked. I was not expecting that. And yeah, that's definitely the cheapest. I could. It's really, you're going to be annoying. That was risky. I should not have done that. I both the lunge attack and the web attack do have a slight delay to them, which is why I went for that. But the lunge attack, the delay is small, and like a little bit of server lag could have killed me there. So yeah, that was a dumb move on my part, basically. Moved away too quickly. That was risky. I should not have done that. That's a valid play when you're on 5 health. That is not a valid play when you're on 3 health, because if you get unlucky and it makes the decision as to which attack it's going to use at like slightly the wrong time, it may use the web attack. If like I didn't get close enough, if I wasn't close enough by the time it was deciding which attack to use, then it would have used web rather than lunge, and that would have killed me. Because I didn't have the healing cherry off cooldown in time. And with that, you can see why I lose so many of my my hardcore LU run. Not well, yeah, hardcore bonds was what I meant to say. I cannot believe I pulled off that. I was like, that's not something I've ever even like really put any effort into trying to do. I've put some effort into getting single once, But I've never like actually thought like, oh, you know, I'm one day going to actually try and use this as an infinite height gain glitch. It's never even been part of the plan. Never like. Yeah, literally, like I considered that that was a possibility. That was a strat like someone could go for, but I was like, I'll probably never do that. And then I just, ow. Note I'm healing up there because of the risk of a single 3 damage attack. Not likely, but always possible. The reason I say not likely is because it has to be. Is because it has quite a large amount of time where I can cancel the attack. I may have gone close enough to aggro there. Yes, I did. Okay. I felt like I had. And it doesn't really matter if I aggroed this guy or the guy I was actually walking towards first, so. Doesn't matter if I aggroed both of them at once, because I wasn't paying attention and did not realise there were 2 of them. Well, then, wouldn't have been necessarily easy to separate them, but move heal. That was. There was a reason that happened, but it wasn't a good one. The reason that happened was because I was trying to. Yeah. I was trying to focus my attacks on the one particular enemy. Yes. This is what I want to do, I think. I just don't feel as safe doing that. I don't think it's much less safe than my standard run past strat. It just feels so much scarier. I don't know if it's just placebo that these guys run faster the further away I am. But placebo never hurt anyone. That's no SIBO that does the hurting. Placebo almost by definition never hurt anyone, because if it hurts you, it's defined as no SIBO. So was placebo just a guy? Is that literally the reason it's the placebo effect? Literally, just some guy called placebo discovered it. Because that's interesting, because it's gone so much into like the. How do I want to play this? Let's just aggro this guy. Not even gonna bother with the admiral yet. But yeah, because it's just gone like so far into day-to-day speech. Like everyone's aware of what the placebo effect is, but like that's probably someone's name. Like the Stark effect, for instance. I would say random the word effect that sprang to mind, but that's it's an effect in looking at the energy levels of an atom, typically as measured by spectroscopy. Actually quite an interesting effect, because there's a really, really interesting property in quantum mechanics, which is that symmetry leads to what's known as degeneracy. At least, yeah. Yeah, so basically, if I have a system which has a particular symmetry, I should expect some sort of degeneracy to result from that. So in particular, you have like labelings of energy levels in a system. It's just and if you have a system which has so you can your system, like say an atom, has particular energy levels. Those energy levels, in the case of an atom, give rise to particular spectral transitions. Now, those energy levels could be basically anything. You know, various theories. Basically, Sturm-Liouville theory tells us a little about how many of them we might expect, i.e., an infinite number. But in theory, the values could be more or less anything. Now, what's interesting is when we pull symmetry into the mix, because symmetry tells you a little bit about the results of permuting. I'm going to go for this play. This will aggro that pirate here. I think that's worth it. Got to keep my distance there. Don't have to keep my distance here. Just got to keep an eye on that admiral, but I don't think, yeah, didn't come anywhere near in range. Be a little careful because there is a strongling pirate over there, which I don't want to aggro. Let's just go take this guy out. Heal up. 2. Where's the second guy? Okay. He de-aggroes when I go there. Cool. How do I want to deal with this? What do I have around behind that building? Just an admiral. Okay. Actually, do I go for this again? How am I messing up his timings now? Did I get it so many times last time? I think I'm going too late. Doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. I aggro that guy, but I can get out in time. So, all's well. Okay, nice. There's one other guy in that direction. Let's aggro this pirate. I aggro 2 pirates. That was a stupid move by me. Okay, let's do this. Ouch. This will de-aggro the mech. Back here. Not de-aggro either of the pirates. There are 2 of them, so it is worth healing up. But I'm going to attempt to focus on one of them rather than the other. And so, literally, when I say I'm going to attempt to focus, all that means is that I'm going to change the timing with which I attack, such that... So, the nice thing is that whichever one took damage last will be slightly stunned. And that tends to lead to the 2 strongly pirates as I attack them separating out. And then the aim is just to keep one of them separated more one way than another. Okay, cool. I guess I can also get that mech shortly. But yeah, so basically you have this notion, which is that degeneracy, which is multiple... Which, yeah, it's the notion where you have multiple solutions to the equations all with the same energy. We have this notion that degeneracy corresponds to symmetry, which kind of makes sense, because if I have a set of solutions and I relate 2 of the solutions through a symmetry, or if 2 of the solutions are, like, symmetrically related, we know they must have the same answer, because, like, the symmetry of the, like... If I'm hungry and I look at myself in the mirror, the me in the mirror is also experiencing the same value for how hungry he is. Basically, the simplest analogy. And a nice thing with this is that in quantum mechanics, you can take linear superpositions of solutions. What this means... well, this isn't exactly a nice feature, this just is a feature that in quantum mechanics, if you have 2 solutions to an equation, you can always take a superposition of them. The thing is with if you take like 2 solutions with different values for energy, then the solution, and you like mix them up and then you ask about how much energy the solution to that has, that like weird combination. Well, there's no guarantee it actually will have any solution for the energy. In fact, I don't think it ever will, because like the things, it won't like just like be the average energy if you average them, because that's basically just not how you actually measure energy. It turns out it'll be, yeah, some superposition of the 2, And you can take quantum mechanics courses to work out exactly how much. But the interesting point is that if you take two which have the same energy, and so basically they will not be what's known as an energy eigenstate, so something with definite energy. However, if you take two things which do have the same energy, you add them up, well, the thing you get actually still does have a definite energy, because both the contributions you had still were contributing something with the same amount of energy. And so basically degenerate systems correspond to... And, well, yeah, and so there are also, if I have, like, two things, I can linearly add them up, basically however I choose, right? I can, like, I can do A, I can just, like, have A times the first thing plus B times the second thing. There's a condition that A squared plus B squared equals 1 in quantum mechanics, but that's fine, because there are still, like, A doesn't have to be an integer, so there are still an infinite number of things I could choose for it to be. And so what this means is that you get this notion of the fact that degenerate states, i.e. when states have the same energy, you also get an infinite number of different states, all with the same energy. There are certain properties. In certain circumstances, they kind of look like an infinite number of states. In other circumstances, they kind of don't. Because you still end up decomposing them into... So the simplest way of looking at it is looking at 3 dimensions. There are an infinite number of x, y, and z axes which I can choose, or there are an infinite number of like basis vectors I can choose to measure direction, and there are an infinite number of unit vectors I can use. But if I want to define some axes, the set of axes, well, there will only ever be 3 unit vectors describing my axes because we live in 3 dimensions. So it's a kind of similar thing. And you have basically what happens in the linear Stark effect is you apply an electric field which breaks some of the symmetries you've got. So in particular, it basically gives you a preferred direction. It tells you, okay, X now looks slightly different from Y because there's an electric field pointing along the X direction. It's like, if you have a compass and no magnetic field, there's symmetry between the northeast, south, and west points on your compass. The second you apply magnetic field going in one direction, well, there's now suddenly a preference for one point rather than another, and, that's how compasses work. It points towards one of them. And so you basically have the same thing with the Stark effect, except it breaks this degeneracy in whichever direction it's pointing, and that basically splits energy levels. And what that does is it's quite interesting, because you're splitting energy levels, you can, like, split 2 energy levels by a very, very tiny amount, right? And so this corresponds to very, very, very low energy transitions in the spectrum. Turns out there are actually loads of very, very low energy transitions anyway, but, Okay. Now we have to deal with this guy. Okay, no, running straight after. Cool. Come on. Don't. Okay, good. Good. This is the plan. So the real risk we're dealing with in all of this is that Kinga Hurl, in the past, I have been killed as he wakes up. It hasn't given me any warning, and he's just attacked right away. So this is what I'm scared about in this run. That's really what I've got to be careful about. I've got to be careful that I don't get killed as he wakes up. Aside from that, I literally just keep attacking, and it's normally a good place to have a little bit of a chat. Because, really, I'm just doing this for a little while. The reason he's not throwing any boulders at me is that I'm too close, and therefore his AI is like, well, let's do our higher damage attack, which is the ground pound. I don't know. It's not exactly the higher damage. It just seems that in LU, things tend to prioritize the attacks with more constraints on them. So, for instance, the Spiderling, I'd say the web attack on the Spiderling is definitely more powerful, more annoying than the lunge attack, but the Spiderling will always go for the lunge attack if it's able. Here, I would say the ground pound attack is probably more useful, probably more powerful, just because it does... It's AoE, full 360, and if someone is close enough, then you might as well use it, because it does, I believe, the same damage as the boulder, so there's no real reason not to use it. And yeah, you know, it does it 3 times in quick succession, so it probably is the right decision for Kinga Hurl to use it. However, not in this case. So in this case, I just use and abuse the fact that he'll use it to... Five. I back off. Uses that. I run up close. There we are. That's the loop I want to replicate. It's not as high damage as the best I know I can get out of Kinga Hurl, but it's the safest I have at the moment. If this fails on me, then I might just... I might, like, genuinely just chalk the Kinga Hurl up to being RNG, as in, it is possible, but has a tendency to bug out, and, you know, I'm not going to put up with that, because I don't need to. But for now, it's going quite well, and I know it looks like I got a tiny amount of damage in, but that's fine. This boss is long, but just that's more because you're just doing the same tedious action over and over again. In theory, Kinga Hurl is easier than most of the other rounds I've done. That bug has made it, in practice, much harder of a fight. But in theory, it doesn't make it any more difficult. So I think it was like, okay, I think it was 6 attacks, or 6 combos, so it's 2, before the stars went away. 4, 5, gonna go for 1 more. I'm gonna back off, yep. No, I don't think I want to do that. Ooh, that was close, that was scary. Oh, I don't know what it did there. That really freaked me out. Like, partial animation. Ooh, that was not good vibes. There are ways of safing this a little bit more with more items. And, like, they are all items which you could get in Hardcore LU. If you've got, like, potions of shielding, tough buff source probably as well would be really helpful. Then, what am I doing? What am I doing? Ooh, that was scary. I thought I jumped away fast enough to get out of range, but that was still very, very, very scary. Because, I mean, as you can see by my time, I've spent an hour getting to this point. I don't want to lose now. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back off. Okay, so I'm just going to get used to him playing the start of that one animation, I think. Regardless, I know it's 2 attacks, and then I run away. I guess it might be worth noting that it's 2 attacks and a little bit longer, and then I run away, because if I run away too soon, then Kinga Hurl will use the boulder throw on me. I don't really want to risk that. Not because the boulder throw is inherently, like, more difficult to dodge or anything, it's just, like, anything which deviates from the strategy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything which deviates from the strategy, I call out as being bad. I want the game to be as predictable as possible. But yeah, is there any point to doing this? Absolutely not. One thing about degeneracies is actually... Okay, sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5. Back off. Ready for the animation. What?! Oh boy. That would be, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, what is known as an LU moment. Oh, hey! That's why I said day stuff for this round. It did not. That was just the current round we died on. Okay, that's... So I was okay. I can update the... That's something I can update the strat to include. That was just, for whatever reason, the game thought he had thrown that before he had. That's kind of similar to the bugs we've seen in the past. That's fine. Well, that at least, like, the server thinking that he's thrown it before he has on my side, that's a bug I can deal with. That literally just means don't do what I did there. Don't go slowly. What I instead should do is I should just keep running in a circle. It might end up with me being on the wrong side, and I might lose a little bit more time, but it's worth it for, you know, not dying. That's good. That was, honestly, that taught me a little bit more about what's going on, about why I've been dying those previous times, so that's good. More knowledge. It's always good, and that's what, like, in theory, that's what this is about. Like, I'm literally just testing and trying to come up with the perfect strategy for this. So, you know what? I'm happy with that. Whether or not I want to keep doing this versus do I want to attempt to pull off the, mech infinite tight gain trick, that's a whole other question. I'm very tempted to go to Avant Garden Survival. Not Avant Garden Survival. To Avant Gardens and just try and pull off that trick. Could also try and do it in Avant Garden Survival, but... Anyway, the thoughts I had partway through there is realize that's kind of the breaking of the degeneracy to get 2 levels spaced next to one another. That's kind of interesting. Having to changing a thing by a small amount and getting 2 energy levels spaced very, very close to one another. That's a physically interesting phenomenon. Certainly in the areas I work, that's a really interesting thing, and I hadn't really looked at degenerate splitting that way. In my case, it probably isn't all that helpful because it's actually that's dealing with atomic transitions, and I tend to work in nanostructures, which means atomic transitions are, well, they're significantly smaller scale, and the reason I work in nanostructures is because of our ability to really nicely engineer and design them. Whereas electronic transitions are harder to engineer and design. Definitely far beyond me. Especially electronic transitions in solids as well. Because electronic transitions in solids are no longer even discrete transitions. Or they're not all. Some of them are, but in general, you're dealing with one band to another band. If the energy gap between points in 2 of the bands is the same as your incoming radiation, then you resonate with it. But note that the same as being points in the bands, which means if the bands are continuous, then the difference between points in two of the bands is able to continuously vary. Which is one of the reasons you tend not to get incredibly strong transitions in stuff like metals, for instance. In anything which is crystalline, at any rate, or not even anything which is crystalline, anything which is fairly dense, anything where there is significant overlap between the orbitals of electrons tends to lose out on that effect. At that point, a model known as the type binding model tends to become very significant, and you need to include that, and that gives you bounds. That gives you band-like structures rather than simply discrete and bound energy levels. What am I doing with my life? Right, let's go. I should be clear, the what am I doing with my life is not me actually disliking doing stuff like this for anti-MLU videos. I wouldn't be doing this if I disliked it. That's me memeing, because I have no idea what's going on currently in BoNS. Feel I should just clarify that. Because I know I wouldn't want to watch a video if I was like, wait a second, this person just isn't enjoying this. And that's the reason why, honestly, I've been enjoying it. That's the reason why I've done like so many BoNS videos. It's because of the fact that, honestly, I really enjoy this. Do I actually really want to? But the thing is, I'm not certain I do want to keep going with this particular game, because this could get all the way to... let's see how far this gets. This could get all the way to Kinga Hurl, in which case that'd be annoying, and I really didn't play the start of this round very well at all. That's fine. It's kind of hard on this early. The thing is, the worst I'm dealing with on these rounds are Stromlings. In terms of things which will pathfind to me and will remember me from a long distance. So even if they do clump up, it doesn't really hinder me all that much. So I'm not too concerned about clumping there. This is a little bit risky. But I managed to pull it off. I might as well take this one. Oh no, move. Might as well take this one a little bit risky at least. Well, not risky enough to kill myself to Stromlings if I can avoid it. That actually worked out. The plan there was to stun the hammer Stromling with that and smash the other Stromling, and that happened. So, I'll take that. That was a little bit of an edgy plan, but, it worked out. So, fire. I failed to dodge. That's how the start of most of those goes. I run in, and we're in the loop. A little bit behind early on there with the attacks. So it was constantly doing 2 attacks, getting lunge cancelled. So it lunging, and that cancelling my attack. And then only getting 1 attack afterwards, which meant I only narrowly avoided the web, which meant I tend to have backwards momentum at the point where the web attack actually did finish, which meant that I ended up being late for the attack again and got me into a loop. Kind of in the way I got into a loop with that, or a losing loop there with that hammer Stromling. I just kept being damaged. That was... I ran away too quickly there, but... Fortunately, didn't work out too badly. This is more or less what you want your Dark Spiraling fights to look like. I stood very close there. It's a risky play, but works out, and we're at Merkle Blotch in 9 minutes, which, I mean, I don't think it's anywhere near what I've achieved as a record in this, but it's not bad. I'll definitely live with that. I'm going a lot closer than I normally would, but given I'm not really expecting this to be a late game, like, that's fine. If I do die here, well, and I might as well take some time at some points to do some exploration. So there was an interesting video I watched involving AIs where they quantified something which I think is really interesting, which is the notion in learning something of exploration versus exploitation, which is the extent to which you attempt to use your knowledge compared to the extent to which you attempt to gain more knowledge. Because typically, if you're trying, because like those do really tend to be like fairly often, like science aims to get in exactly in between both of those, but fairly often those two are, well, no, science is just aims to optimize exploitation. Or exploration rather. I guess the point is, so it's not necessarily how much you aim to use your knowledge, how much you aim to use your knowledge to directly gain yourself. The point would be exploitation, and the amount you use your knowledge to, and the amount you just attempt to gain new knowledge would be the exploration. So, Basis was used in the context of an AI, and it was like, you know what? Currently the AI is making it. It was in Trackmania. It was learning to drive. It was like, this is making it a very small way through the track. Like, it's mostly random, and it's never making it like past the first bend, which like makes sense. If you're like, if the car remains having purely random inputs, then you're not going to see any improvement over time. So if you're always just learning and getting a sense of the track, then you're typically not going to get much further. However, let's do the converse. If you go full exploitation, and you always do the best possible thing you could do, well, of course you're not going to find anything new, because you're always doing... You will find one new piece of information per, like, every generation there, which will be exactly what happened to that one car, and nothing really else. And I think it's an interesting thing to think about in just learning in general. To what extent, when you do learn something... oh, no. To what extent, when one learns something, one aims for exploration versus exploitation. And the thing is, there's not really that there's one that's better than the other. Like, you probably could say in any particular scenario that a particular variation moving from exploration to exploitation would generate knowledge faster than another one, and that's true, but that would also only hold... Where are they? They would only hold for that one particular scenario. And I strongly suspect you'd have to know the solution in order to be able to calculate that to begin with. So, like, not particularly useful. Anyway, I think I might actually... Let's make sure I get the right one. Yeah, I think I might actually head to... I think I might just kind of call this and head to Avant Gardens, actually. Because I'm really interested in that height gain. Like, that was really cool. No idea where this character is at the moment. Jugger Monastery. There's nothing here which does... that's not true. There's something which does projectile-based attacks, but there's nothing here, I believe, which does projectile-based attacks that I could abuse particularly easily. I can think of 2 actual projectile-based attacks. I can think of the archers. I guess I might as well try. I can think of the archers, and I can think of the skeletons who throw bones at you. I guess both of them I actually, in theory, could. Both of them are much, much harder to judge than mech attacks. Is this the bug in Ninjago where you have all the music playing at once? I realise you can't hear this because no, definitely isn't. Music stopped. I realise you also can't hear that. So I don't have the music on at the moment. I didn't realise that until just saying that and just checking OBS, but I also figure you guys probably don't feel like you're missing out on anything. I can turn it on, I guess. Let me know, honestly, if you prefer with or without the music, please. That's interesting. So. Well, hello there, Lord Garmadon. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Wow, was not expecting that cutscene. Completely lost the key when that other music started, but anyway. So, these guys will throw stuff at me when I first get by. Or is it just the blacksmiths that do that? Maybe I'm misremembering. Also, get out my favourite weapon in all of LU. Okay, it looks like you're not actually going to, so you've chosen death. Look at me, I made a movie reference. I don't know what movie it was from, so I can't claim much. Probably Star Wars, because I know it's a movie I heard from the LU community. Or it's a reference I heard in the LU community. And I know they only make prequels memes. So. I also don't have much of a sense of which ones are the prequels. I just know that there are some Star Wars movies which are the prequels, and I guess they come in universe before the others, but I somewhat suspect by the fact they're called prequels, they don't come in universe. They don't actually come in the real world before the others. Don't know. Don't know anything about this. Ouch. Now you're going to want to attack me, aren't you? Yeah. This is going to be a slow process. Come on. I don't think I can use those. It may well be possible, but I don't think I myself am capable of managing it. I guess I can also try with the with the other spinny archery boys. Come on. Come on. I've got enough imagination to keep this up, but I prefer it if I don't have to. Oh, I felt that actually. I was temporarily stopped from moving. Okay, what? What are you all doing? I was temporarily stopped from moving there, and it was me running into something, which means those things do actually spawn in physics objects if they miss you somehow, but I just can't. I would not be able to reliably enough predict where one was going to be able to do that. Come on. I mean, we got a visible projectile, so I'm gonna just say, yeah, probably. And leave it at that. It was definitely too fast for me to actually judge the jump. Could you practice and get the timings right on that? Yeah, definitely. Am I going to? Definitely not. I'm just interested in seeing. Can I get out of bounds in Avant Gardens with this trick? Can I do this consistently enough to get out of bounds in AG? Absolutely no idea. Normal mechs do seek in AG. I realise I don't actually spend much time fighting mechs in Avant Gardens. Like, I've spent a lot of time with them in Avant Garden Survival when I was testing Avant Garden Survival out of bound strategies. I've spent a lot of time with them in Battle of Nimbus Station, but both of those also very good reasons why why the game would want you to have. Oh yeah, I forgot I could do this now. Does mean I've now lost the Battleboard helmet. But fortunately, I've equipped it several times over. Let me just enjoy the speed. So much speed. Oh my. It's rather a lot of rapidity. And then I want to... Wait a second, I've still got the speed boost? Feels like. Do I need to relog to get rid of this? Well, if I do need to relog, there's no point. I mean, I could, but I could just wait out the 5 minutes, but that's effort. Wee. But yeah, so I've got one place which springs to mind as a really reasonable target for an out of bounds. Question is, actually, will a strongly mech still aggro me all the way up there? So a really, really cool out bounce target would be here. But the question is, will a mech de-aggro from me? Hello there. Oh, and yes, they are. Okay, the mech's bullets here do not seek. It's also not flying. And it does de-aggro. Okay, that's a bit of a shame. We're working about Garden Survival. but I'm not convinced I could pull it off in Vanguard and Survival. So I guess I'll leave that to challenge for people. Does anyone think it takes to pull it off in AGS? It definitely is possible. I can just... Why is it... I still have the speed boost. I've relogged and I still have the speed boost. Alright. Was not expecting that. So yeah, let's just... demonstrate that we get seeking projectiles in AGS. Because we weren't getting them from the mechs over there. Actually, let's see if I can get one projectile jump in AGS, just to demonstrate that it is possible, and then I've demonstrated earlier that it's possible to get multiple in AGS. Why? Have I just lost all sense? No. I've not lost all sense of how fast my character normally goes. This is fast. Like, I even notably like the amount of time it takes me. Wow, that's loud. The amount of time it takes me to accelerate and decelerate. It's changed. So I've turned down for you guys, and I should turn down for myself. Yeah, let's do that quickly. Cool. Okay, come on. I see you. Okay. As much as I love you, Mythwalk, I'd love it if you could also despawn quickly. I'm just gonna... That's annoying. There we are. Timing seems slightly different on here, but... The thing is, you also have multiple. So in theory, it could be easier, but you've also got... Yeah, I mean, that demonstrates... You'd need to have a lot of health to be able to tank, to, like, feel confident in this strat, but it also... I think we've shown fairly confident that it does work. Actually, it's working too well. So yeah, now there's also too much stuff. So I'm going to say, obviously you can probably hear this music through my earphones right now. It's loud. HGS be a loud boy. Cool. Well, thank you very much for watching. I've been you, and I will see you around. Bye. Sorry, that was a really quick, really like sharp transition to lead out, but yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited we found that it will show that Infinite Height game was actually fairly plausible. Battle Limber Station, not as cool as having achieved it in Vanguard Survival, but we got fairly close there. The issue would just be, yeah, you'd have to achieve it fairly quickly in Vanguard Survival. Just because if you don't achieve it very quickly, like, then you're completely overrun by things trying to murder you. Yeah. Anyway, yes, so with that said, we found out, I think this has been pretty successful. We found out a lot more about, we found out what's going on with Kinga Hurl. Got a lot more information on that front. Just, I start running sooner, don't trust the animations, and don't even trust whether or not there is apparently one. You've got like 5, maybe 6, but I'd say honestly 5 attacks on Kinga Hurl to be safe, and then you just start running in circles, or running... You could run back and forth, that's a little bit more risky, there is still a chance you could get hit. So I'd probably suggest running in circles around Kinga Hurl. And then we demonstrated, yeah, that really cool effect. Let's just see if I can try it outside of Vanguard Survival, because it might be possible even without the seeking, it's just going to be a little bit annoying. Yeah, man. That's going to be really annoying. It's possible. But the thing is, you can only... You can't get as much height here. So you saw we spawned the physics there, actually. You saw me walk against it. I mean, I don't know if you did, but... There we are. It's there and then disappeared. It's closer. There we are. It's right there. Oh, that was close. There you go. Don't think we're gonna... Yeah, you can see me landing on it there. Yeah, the issue of doing this outside survival is you can't double jump. It's the bullet won't seek. There we are. Oh, and it doesn't even shoot fast enough. Cool, good to know. Well, yeah, there are there are lots of reasons that's not actually practical in Fan Gardens, but no, it was good to have demonstrated that. Okay, and now with that, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Intraval, and I'll see you around. Bye.